Hi Stampers, I'm Nancy from StampandShout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and welcome to my weekly Wednesday video. Today I'm excited. I'm always excited to be here with you guys, but today I'm going to talk about the Friendly Gnomes stamp set. And this also comes with some dies, which I'm going to talk about shortly. What a cute little set this is. And I had a lot of fun creating cards to share with you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the stamp set and the coloring of the little gnomes. But let's look at it for a second, because there's some other little details in here that you might not see. And I didn't use these in my cards, but look how cute the little squirrel is. I mean, he is just so cute. And the little bird, and of course the balloon. I did use the balloon and the leaf and the flower. So you can create a great scene with all the little elements in this, and it's got really cute font. And I was surprised when I stamped my cards because the font really went with the gnomes. It wasn't elegant, it wasn't pretty, it was kind of just natural or gruff. It was really cute. So you'll like that when you stamp with it, you'll see. But it's good for birthdays. Love you. Gnome Sweet Gnome. I have a card showing the Gnome Sweet Gnome. Spring. That's a great card for now. And there's no one better than you. So let's talk a little bit about the stamps. I'm going to stamp a little bit and we're going to color them in. Don't want you to forget about celebration going on through February 28th. And of course, the Join Now celebration, or the Join Now promo. It's a great deal. $99 and you get $175 worth of product. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But if you want to know more, stampandshout.com, stampandshout@gmail.com, and I will help you out. So I got a couple scraps here. And I'm going to bring in Memento, and I'm going to bring in some of those darling gnome stamps. So I got my Memento ink. And we're going to stamp that little guy. And we're going to stamp this little guy, because this one's also good for Valentine's Day. So cute. I mean, the detail in these stamps is really nice. And that's just stamped plain with black Memento ink. But what I'm going to use to color them in are my watercolor pencils. So just real quick, watercolor pencils. I got this little container probably at the dollar store or Michael's, and it fits all my pencils perfectly. It's about 7.5 by 5.5. So what I did was I just threw all my pencils in here, and then I cut them from the box. I cut the little label out so I know exactly what I have in here. And there you go. Real quick, simple, nice and easy storage. So I chose to color these in with my watercolor pencils. And truth be told, I did not have some of the Stampin' Blends. I do like the Stampin' Blends for coloring in, but I do think my favorite are the watercolor pencils, and you're going to see why in a second. So let's see, I have a lot of colors here. And the way I chose my colors was because I also used this new designer series paper called Dainty Flowers. Now, you can only get this in the Celebration catalog. And I just want to let you guys know that the things in the Celebration catalog, once they're gone, they're gone. So if you like something, you got to get it quick. But this is one of the papers that I used. I don't know if you can tell. It's a pretty fresh freesia with the little dots. I use this one here. This one is so much fun, because basically what you want to do is you just want to cut off the strip and use sections of it however it fits with your card. Pretty. I use this one. Now that is the Starry Sky. It's got a pretty little pattern on it, and I also use this color, this piece of paper here. But look at this one here is so cool. I mean, all you got to do here is add a sentiment. So you basically cut that out, put it on your card, and add a sentiment. But you also want to be careful when you cut. You're just going to cut like that. You're going to cut like that. So you have this nice little strip in the middle, and you can use those pieces as well. This is a fun color. I almost did this for my birthday card that I'm going to share with you in a little bit. So really, really pretty, gorgeous paper. And you know what? This paper is easy to work with. You don't have to do a lot of thinking with it. You can just cut a piece out, put it on your card, and stamp your little sentiment, and you're good to go. But let's get back to this, and let's talk about a little bit about coloring. So the colors that I used were basically Gorgeous Grape, Rich Razzleberry, Night of Navy. There's Rich Razzleberry. I used Granny Apple Green. I used a little bit of the Flirty Flamingo, and you'll see why in a second. I used Early Espresso and a little bit of Crushed Curry, and also a tiny bit of Daffodil Delight. So those are the colors that I used because they coordinated well with that Dainty Flowers Designer Series paper. So first thing, my main color that I used was the Gorgeous Grape. So let's talk a little bit about how I used it. First thing, let's see if you notice, sharp pencils. This is your first tip. Make sure your watercolor pencils are sharp, and you will have, it'll just be so much easier to work with. And usually what I like to do is I'm using Gorgeous Grape right now, is I like to outline my stamp, my stamped image. That's the first thing I do. And I also just accent and fill in all the lines that your stamp, that Stampin' Up! Gives you. I just color those in. So I basically am outlining. So what's nice about these watercolored pencils, is it's basically coloring, just like when you were a kid and coloring. So I like to outline it, just gives it something. And then I just like to color it in. And I like to color very light first, because then you can go back and color darker. So I'm coloring very light, and I'm coloring in straight lines. I'm not coloring in swirls, but I'm just coloring very, very lightly in straight lines, just like that. And I did the same thing here on his little arm and his little pants. And then I'm going to bring in Early Espresso. And I'm just going to, again, I'm going to outline just like that. And I made his beard have brown highlights in it. So again, I'm highlighting and outlining everything. And you are going to be surprised. Don't give up, because once you get done, it is just so, so pretty. And it's just so easy to do. So at the bottom here, I just gave it a heavier outline, just like that. And I did want, I guess I'll color his shoes in a little bit darker. So I'm just pushing harder, but I'm doing straight lines. I'm not doing swirls. And then for his beard, I'm going to go real light. Real light. Just gives a little bit of color. Just like that. Now that Flirty Flamingo, that is the pink that's in with the watercolor pencils. So I'm just going to color very, very light, just to give him a little bit of color on his nose and his hands. Now, if you wanted, he could be wearing mittens, but I'm assuming these are his hands, because this is going to be a spring card. And let's see, I'm going to bring in Night of Navy, and real light, I'm just going to color in my flowers. And again, these are all the colors that go with that Designer Series paper. And actually, the color that goes is Starry Sky, but you can use this Night of Navy watercolor pencil, and it works just fine. And I'll give the center of my flowers a little bit of yellow. And I think he is about done. So let's go on to this little guy here. And again, I just want to bring in a new color, which is the Rich Razzleberry. So I'm going to outline the heart in rich raspberry and just color it in again, just with straight lines. Just like that. And again, I colored in, for my cards, I used Gorgeous Grape on all of them because that was the theme that I had going. But that is basically it. Let's take a closer look at this on the camera. I know with the lighting and everything, it's hard to see the colors, but when you do it in person, you're going to be just amazed. So there you can see it. But these are called watercolor pencils, so you can do just as I did here, or you can also bring in a little paintbrush. Just have some water. There's already water in my paintbrush. And then you can actually add a little bit of wetness, and it just smears all those colors together. But I'm going to show you another. See if I can get that. I want to show you one other tip. This is the latest craze that people have been doing. So they've been taking the Stampin' Blend. This is the color lifter, and it has that lifting technique. It's got some kind of fluid in there. But I want to show you the difference of when you actually color in. After you colored with the watercolored pencils, just going to go over this lightly. It just blends the colors of that watercolor pencil. Now bring in a paper towel, and if you're switching colors, clean off your tip a little bit so you don't smear the colors together. You don't want the brown and the purple. But let me just color this in a little bit and show you, see if you can see the difference. I'll leave the other guy like he is. But even accents where you outlined. It's just real subtle, but it is something else that you can do if you want to, but again, you don't have to. So let me bring this back up and see if you can see the difference. So it does deepen the color a little bit, and it takes away any lines that you may have. So if you were a colorer that liked to color in swirls, you could do that and then just add a little bit of water. This is basic white paper. It's not watercolor paper, so you can't add a ton, but these are small images, so it's not going to affect anything. It's still fine, and you can still use it on your card. So now what I would do is I would bring in the dies and just lay them down. Like that. And I can cut out, oh, that's not the right one. Lay this one down and line it up, and you can cut out the gnomes with the dies. And again, I did show you the other things that the dies do, the little fun little images that you can create. So let's get on to some card ideas. So here's the first card. And again, I used that Dainty Flowers Designer Series paper. So here we have a cute little border, fresh freesia, a little bit of embossing here. And here I cut out a piece of that beautiful Designer Series paper. And then I just glued my little gnome on there. And the Love You, that is from that stamp set. So I thought that was really, really cute. Great for any occasion, but of course we could use that for Valentine's Day. Then let's bring in this one. Gnome Sweet Gnome. I thought this would be a great card for someone that just moved into their house, or just an anniversary, or any kind of feeling of love card. And here again, I used that pretty Dainty Flowers Designer Series paper. And on this card, I used the layering circles. And tell you a little secret here. This little circle that I first cut out, I thought was too tiny. I don't know if you can see. And I wanted the larger circle. So I glued these two pieces together, popped them up, and I put that outline of the circle back down there. That way it shows up a little bit more. So there's my little secret. I mean, creating the cards is just a process, and that's how I came up with that. But I did want to show off that Designer Series paper. And again, that the font is so pretty. And then lastly, now in this card I used the scalloped die cuts, which I love those because they just work with every single card. You can use them with plain cardstock. You can use them with Designer Series paper. And again, I use the Designer Series paper on the largest die cut, and on this one here, and then plain white here. And then I went ahead and put my little gnome down with the balloon. And this balloon, I did not have the right colors for it. So let's see if I have it here really quick. I don't know. Yep, I do. So let me just show you really, really quick how I did that balloon. So I stamped them in Memento, and I didn't have fresh freesia. So basically I used a couple of my pencils, and I started off with the light purple. And then I added a little bit of the Night of Navy. And then I added some of that Flirty Flamingo. And depending on how hard you push down, you get a different look. And that right there kind of matched everything. It kind of gave me that little fresh freesia tint to this. So anyway, those are the cards that I made so far. Oh, I want to show you one quick thing. So the dies, now I didn't talk about the dies too much, but these gnome dies are darling. And what they do is they cut out all the gnomes. They cut out the mushroom. They cut out little tiny mushrooms. But let me show you this really quick. I'm working on this right now. I haven't finished it, but this is just using the dies only. So there's a piece of designer series paper, and I cut out all these little pieces, and I'm going to make a Valentine's Day card, probably for my son, because I thought this was just so cute, kind of guyish, right? And there you go. All dies, no stamping. So isn't that cute? So anyway, I'm so glad that you guys joined me. I hope that my card tips and my card ideas inspired you. I am offering the make and takes. So you can get 3 make and takes right here, plus the PDF instructions. So you'll get step-by-step instructions with all the sizes and all the supplies and everything else you need to know. And make and takes are a great way when you're using a new stamp set. So in case you don't know what to do, make and takes kind of give you a head start, and they kind of just spark your imagination. So anyway, make and takes are available. Information's on my blog. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please leave comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you hit the notification bell, you're going to get notified every time I do a video. And I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you next time. Don't be shy. Stamp and shout.